Ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. I hate taking videos at this angle because it just shows that I'm missing all these fucking teeth. But if you can deal with it, I can deal with it. I haven't been able to make a video in a little while, a couple days now, because I've been so busy at work, getting ready to go back on the road, tying up all the loose ends out here. But man, I am looking forward to it. I am ready to go on to the next project. Let's just put it like that. So, I've got a bunch of notes here, and I'm really looking forward to kind of skimming this with you guys. I appreciate everybody that's been watching these videos. I hope that some of you are younger guys and that you find this to be helpful, and hopefully I can help you not hit the same huge speed bumps that I've hit going through your relationships and dealing with some of the kind of collateral damage that comes along with doing that. So this might be a video that's a little longer than some of the other ones. I'll try not to make them like an hour long, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to call this one, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Now, I've never actually had a woman say that to me. I'm not that guy. I'm like the other guy. I'm the guy that your wife is probably going to try to cheat on you with me. Not that I've never been cheated on. There was, when I was like in high school, which was like a million years ago, there was this girl who was, oh man, she was banging. And she was older than me. And when she went off to college, I don't know why, but both of us thought that we could just keep it together. I was in San Diego. She went off to school in Santa Barbara. She went to UCSB. And San Diego to Santa Barbara, at the time I had a street bike and a BMW and a truck. And I was like, I can just drive up there and see this chick anytime I want. Obviously, one thing leads to another, and after a certain amount of time, of course, she cheated on me with somebody up there at college. And good for her. Because if you're in college, you don't need to be dating some dude in high school. Especially like several hundred miles away. And all that business. And I cheated on her first. Okay, so it's not like I was just super innocent and she was just super fucked up. Like, no. I cheated on her first. And then after she went to college, she stayed with me. And then like a long time, maybe like, man, it's hard to remember. Maybe like 8 or 9 months or a year later, she went off to college. And then maybe like her second year in college is when we were breaking up and she was, looking elsewhere for attention. And it's all good. No hard feelings at this point. I'm 45. Okay? So, I'm just saying that for a point of reference. But now, my last 25 to 28 years of experience, 27 years of experience, I haven't been that guy. I've been the other guy. Where, like, if I'm the trainer at the gym, your wife's gonna try to fuck me instead of you. Don't ever let your wife get a personal trainer. If I'm the financial planner at the tax preparation business, when you come in with your wife, she's gonna be like, oh shit, my husband is kind of gay and weak. Not that you're all gay and weak, hopefully you're not, but if you are, there's going to be a very, very significant difference in the attraction level that your wife or your serious girlfriend or whoever has with you compared to the attraction level that she has for other men that she would determine are kind of like a dark gentleman type, somebody that can communicate above a certain minimum standard level, keeps himself in shape above a certain minimum standard level, can slit throats, whoop people's ass, but then still operate in the world like a normal person. You know, I have daughters. I've mentioned that before in other videos, so it's really not that difficult to be the type of person, to be the type of guy that can perform considerable acts of violence on people, but then also shake hands and kiss babies and be the mayor of your small town. Or maybe not be the mayor, but like, you know, slit throats in the morning and hold babies in the evening. Or vice versa. Anyway, all that to say, it's very common that women will say at one point or another to a man that they've been in a relationship for quite a while, they'll be like, you know, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And I've heard that over and over again in books or in movies and read that in books, and I'm like, yeah, I totally get it. It made total sense to me from the very beginning, but I came across a guy's blog where he did a really, really good and interesting job of kind of picking that apart. And so I'm going to read just just a one paragraph kind of summary here of where not summary, but just a statement that he wrote. And so I quote, this guy's blog is called blogisdead.com. It's not, I don't think he posts on it anymore, so it's actually dead, but the actual name of it is blogisdead.com. The guy calls himself Jew from Jersey. Super smart dude. Very sharp. I read probably like 15 to 20 of his posts on his blog. And man, this is a very intelligent gentleman, very, very well read. And his blog posts, he cites his, he quotes people, he cites where he gets his material from. Excellent work. And he has to say, women know that real love between men and women is sex, but they won't admit it. Men, on the other hand, don't even know it. Side note, I think that's kind of debatable, but to continue with to quote him, men, on the other hand, don't even know it. That's why a wife says, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. The in love part of it is clearly the stronger and more precious emotion and is saved or restricted for the men that they desire. The love part is clearly the less important and implies only a willingness to continue to receive useful, non-sexual services. For men, extramarital sex is mere sex. For women, a husband is mere love. And that's the rub, gentlemen. That's the rub. I had never heard anyone put it like that. And that's masterful. That's it. I've heard other people say that one of the higher signifiers of elevated intelligence is being able to take complex concepts that can get long-winded to explain and very convoluted with variables and details, and summarize them down to the smallest amount of words possible that the most amount of people can understand with clarity. And I would absolutely agree with that. And so I repeat, to quote this guy Jew from Jersey from his blog, blogisdead.com, for men, extramarital sex is mere sex. For women, a husband is mere love. Bro, you're killing the game. I hope your blog's not really dead. So yeah, what you'll find is the vast majority of women are not actually developed past childhood or young adolescence kind of level. And I've been reading some material and listening to some material here the last couple weeks where people are kind of delving into the concept of that. And you'll hear that men or women mature, girls mature faster than boys. And that is a very interesting and quite misleading statement. But I find that after some analysis and observation that that's true. Where it may fall short is the conclusion. And the conclusion is, well, it leads you to believe that women are more mature than men, and they become so quicker than men. Now that is total bullshit. Women mature faster than men from a very, very young age because they sexually mature faster than men. And they are born with their value, and their value is not earned like a man's value. So like a woman's peak is 18 to 22. Her fertility window is in her youth and her young adult years. And a man's value is built up, especially these days, into his late 20s, probably closer to his mid 30s, all the way up until his like 60s and 70s. Like there's 70-year-old dudes going out there and finding that they can do very well in the sexual marketplace. And if they were to be interested in finding a wife or a serious long-term relationship, then it would be, I mean, obviously, if they've acquired the type of resources necessary, it can be very, very smooth. Even if you're an older, kind of cripped out, wrinkly kind of gentleman, it's much easier to stay in shape for guys, and it's much more natural for men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s to be of high sexual marketplace value. It's just, I don't make the rules. I just work here. You know what I'm saying? So I've got a whole bunch of pages of notes here, and I'm going to cover a few different topics. I'm going to try to do what I can to kind of tie this all together here in the end. And it goes a little something like this. Okay, so there's some different, well, there's some, well, here, how do I get into this without getting the videos completely just deleted off the internet? Okay, so let's start here. So women are going to mature quickly because even by the time a woman is starting to hit puberty, which is a very young age, and it's absolutely, it's highly illegal and culturally shamed for men to be attracted to grown men to be attracted to teenage girls. That's, I think, inappropriately so. I think obviously it's well documented in the past that grown men would be attracted to teenage girls. At this point in time, as I've said before, I have daughters, so I'm perfectly fine with the idea that grown-ass men shouldn't be trying to hook up with girls that are teenagers. Okay? I'm cool with that. I don't think grown men should be going after teenage girls. But the reality of the situation is girls are going to grow up getting attention from men, and as soon as they become sexually viable candidates for reproduction, then even though men may culturally be told they shouldn't be attracted to these younger women, the lines get kind of blurry. You know, if 18 is legal and 17 is legal in some places and 16 is legal in some places, if you're in like fucking Mississippi or Alabama, don't hate on me. I don't even know if that's really how it is in Mississippi and Alabama. I'm just throwing that out there as a joke, really, all right? But yeah, so these young girls are going to become viable candidates for reproduction. Way younger than what's legally appropriate, right? But because of that, they get put in this position where they're pedestalized quite a bit, and then the maturity curve comes to an abrupt halt and falls off precipitously. When a woman, and so some guys have said that women really mature once they start buying their own drinks at the bar and things like that. And then I think that's absolutely true in an observable, recordable way. So probably a girl who's like 18, 19 isn't really going to mature much until she gets way into her later years, late 20s, early 30s, even late 30s, early 40s, kind of depending on all the variables. Whereas the curve of maturity for a man may start off a little slower, but it's more consistent over a longer period of time, and that's because men have to, work and create their value by earning it in the world through acquiring resources, solving problems, being involved in society in terms of like actually performing behaviors that are worth money. Girls aren't coming up to us and asking us on dates and paying for our dinners and things like that. So there's quite a bit of difference happening there. What you'll observe is a reinforcement of selfishness that becomes a serious problem, and that for the most part happens with girls becoming women and women, and especially in North America. Not so much with men. As a man, if you are just hyper selfish, then it becomes a serious liability very quickly. You're going to need to be a team player quite a bit. You're going to need to be able to work with people. You're going to need to be able to communicate with people. You're going to need to be able to put yourself second and take one for the team and be coachable, be approachable, be flexible. There's a saying that I've heard: God blesses the flexible, for they do not get bent out of shape. I don't know who came up with that, but that's beautiful. I think more people should know and understand that. So the selfishness thing goes on quite a bit with women, and it's the hallmark of scarcity mindset. I've heard some guys recently, Myron in particular, say things like, women operate on a total abundance mindset. They don't give a fuck. And at first I was like, yeah, I can see his point. And then after thinking about it a little bit, I'm like, well, nah. Not at all, actually. In the moment, that kind of makes sense, but thinking it through a little bit, it's like, well, the selfishness really is the hallmark of a scarcity mindset, because it's like, me, no one else exists, instant gratification only. Women tend to be almost completely unable to delay gratification whatsoever. And the ability to delay gratification really is the hallmark of an abundance mindset. I mean, think about it. If you really are in an abundance mindset, then you're not so stressed out and freaked out about instant gratification right here, right now. Serve me. All I'm worried about is my emotions in this moment, and I want to try to bend the world to fit my narrative inside my head. A successful man would never be able to do that. A successful man would look at the world and do some analyzation, make some observations that are based in reality, and be able to function in a profitable way by making the choices that will have the most long-term success, not short-term success. And having short-term success and long-term success aren't mutually exclusive all the time. Oftentimes they will be, but I would say that genius level men will be able to see through all the bullshit and distractions, and might even be able to operate in such a way that there is some short-term gain and some long-term profitability overall in their life. And that right there is high level. That's excellent work. If you can solve your immediate problems right here, right now, today, and set up the solutions in such a way that they will profit long-term and be sustainable long-term, and you're not just operating on the overbearing desire for instant gratification, but you can operate on the intelligent you want to maximize your ability to have long-term success. And that takes intelligence. That takes discipline. That takes self-control. And that a lot of times comes from experience. It's very well known that a lot of education kind of gets pissed away, because without the experience to really solidify the concepts that you might be learning in school, it's very difficult to actually understand how those things work and make the right choices. So, let me hit some of these points here. I've heard a couple guys recently that are very, very well thought out, say things like, they say it differently, but it's the same thing. There's a psychologist, Dr. Orion Taraban, masterful, and he's said in some videos that like modern relationships with men and women could really benefit from taking a page out of the notebook from gays. I'm like, oh shit, man. Dr. Taraban's calling modern women a bunch of faggots. And I hate to admit it, but oh man, they are more like a bunch of fags than you might want to admit. So if you're a North American dude and you're gonna be dealing with North American women, I hate to say it, man, but you're gonna be much more successful if you can begin to treat these women like they're homosexual men. Why is that? Because that's what they behave like, that's what they think like, and the standards that they're trying to hold for their relationship and their behavior and your behavior and all that are completely insane. They're inverted, they're ridiculous, they're nonsensical, they are unsustainable, and you are an absolute fool if you try to get into a relationship with one of these North American modern women and treat them like they are not what they are telling you that they are. For the most part, they're faggots. I'm sorry, man. But this definitely can't go on YouTube. But Dr. Taraban would say you should treat modern relationships with women in America like it's a gay relationship. There's some dating coaches out there. One of them, Casey Redbeard. He's got a channel called Redbeard Rants. He's like, to quote him, low-key, dating American women is kind of gay. He's saying the same thing that Dr. Taraban is saying. And they're right. Dating American women is gay as fuck. Oh, man. These chicks are cooked all the way. Well done, man. And so, if you want to be here in North America and operate in the sexual marketplace and have any kind of success without driving yourself fucking crazy, then it's going to be beneficial for you to treat these girls like they're homosexual dudes. Up until the point where you're going to be having sex with them, and then at that point, if you want them to like you, if you want them to stick around, if you want to have any kind of successful, fruitful relationship, you cannot be nice to them. You have to fuck the shit out of them. Honestly, I didn't learn this until way later in life. Okay? I was brought up in this Christian Protestant family. I went to private school. I was way smarter than all my teachers. I was like testing higher than anybody on all this aptitude test stuff. And I really thought that these people knew what they were talking about. I thought that my church was being legit with me. I thought that my folks were being legit. I thought that my teachers were being legit. I thought that the TV and the news and everybody was real. I thought this was all on the up and up. And that you should just be super nice to these girls. That's fucking ridiculous. That's absolutely not true. That is totally crazy. It is going to destroy your relationships faster than you could do it with a can of gas and a match. Okay? So you have to break these hoes off like you're trying to break your dick off in them and leave it in there. Alright? And then You have to not be so nice to them after the fact. I'm just saying, if you want to have a successful relationship, and I know this sounds fucking crazy. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. Oh, man. So this is why people, most guys in my category, have gotten to the point where they're beginning to come to the understanding that the Italian mob was doing it the right way when they would say, you know, you're going to have a wife and then you're going to have a side piece. You need a concubine of some kind because you're not going to want to do all this crazy shit to your wife in bed when it's the mother of your kids. You want to be able to get that out of your system on somebody else that's not the mother of your kids. I don't know exactly. I've been thinking this through. I've been kind of talking this through and thinking this through. And I'm trying to poke holes in that idea because I'm still holding on to this shred of faith that monogamous relationships are the way to go and that's what people should do. More and more of my life experience is telling me absolutely directly that monogamous relationships are not really working very well and that we don't have a really good handle on raising up women to be able to actually maintain a monogamous relationship. So it may actually be the case. I'm not ready to kind of stand 10 toes down on this shit yet, but it may actually be the case that you cannot be in a monogamous relationship anymore. It may actually be the case that you want to have a baby mama and that you're going to need to maintain that relationship by having outside sexual experiences that are not kept hidden from your baby mama relationship. It's a heartbreaker, man. But it may actually be necessary to go that direction and to kind of swallow that black pill and not be a bitch about it anymore. I'm cool with it. As a matter of fact. So I wasn't doing that from the beginning because they told me I would go to hell for that. I don't necessarily think that's true anymore. I'm not 100%, but I've seen enough out of these Christian Protestant churches that I grew up in where I'm like, okay, you people don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I think you've gone off the reservation and you're just doubling down on bullshit and bad decisions. And what I do know for absolute sure is that doubling down on compounding bad decisions, that's a fucking sin. So if you're going to identify that your decisions are bad decisions, but then you're going to just double down on this shit and continue doing all this stuff that's destroying your life and creating chaos and drama and ruining the upbringing of your children and putting you in family court and bankrupting you and making your children bastards, then fuck you. Okay? You get what you deserve. And keep doubling down on that shit, homie. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep doubling down on that. Good for you, man. Bury yourself now, because you're dead already. That being said, I've skipped a bunch of my notes here already. I do that from time to time. But if you want to have a successful relationship, it's very critical that you don't go around selecting for love. This is counterintuitive, just as many things are, but this is actually how it works. If you try to go out and select for love, I want some girl that loves me, I want to be loved, fucking gay, bro. What you need to do is select for respect. You need to select for submission and respect first. And you can't have one without the other. They go together. Respect and submission. Absolutely, positively do not outstep the lines of respect and submission. You can't have submission without respect, and you won't have love without submission and respect. So if you select for respect and sexual opportunity, you're allowing her to be in a position to love you. If you select for love, you're vacating your position and your responsibility. And you're going out into the world as a vulnerable little child, looking for a mommy to love you. And that's gay, homie. So stop. Stop being gay and weak. She's not going to love you if you're gay and weak. You need to be stronger than that. You need to be respectable. And you need to be able to be submitted to. So why doesn't your wife submit to you? Why doesn't your girlfriend believe in submitting to a man? Because you are not able to be submitted to. You're selecting for love. Stop it. Select for respect. How can you do that? You already know. Wake up in the morning, pray for forgiveness. Do push-ups. When you're done, do more. After that, run. After that, do more. Read. Get off your fucking phone. For God's sake. Are you a woman? No. So don't spend any time on social media. For God's sake, gentlemen. If you're gay and weak, she will not respect you or submit to you. How can I be hyper successful with women? I've got facial scars on every quadrant of my face. I've got a fucking crooked nose. I've got destroyed ears that don't match and missing teeth. Okay? Do you think I'm just like killing it in the game because of my fucking beautiful fucking model level face? That's not what it is. It's your self-respect. It's your energy. Okay? There's no excuse. Stop doing all the things that you know you shouldn't be doing. That means don't be a bitch. If you're going to act like a bitch, you get what you deserve. And you'll know because the results will show the amount of effort that you've put into all this. A little bit of a tangent there. Be the current strongest version of yourself. Stay on the path of development. Separate that from your relationships. She doesn't want to see you working on yourself, bro. She don't ever want to see that because that implies weakness. It does more actually than imply weakness. It shows weakness on the surface. You need to hide the fuck out of that. That is not for her to see. That is for you to keep secret and work on yourself. This is another reason why you cannot and will not and shall not allow a woman to live in your house. And guess what? That doesn't mean it's okay for you to go move into her house. So don't fucking play that game either. They don't want to see you working on it. They just want to see you win. I don't make the rules. I just work here. If you give them a wide open bay window into your weakness when it's not their business, now you're making it their business. And what is that? That's you elevating them above you. That's gay. So don't do that. Treat American women like gay men. You would never, go find some gay dude and bring him in your house so he could watch you get up in the morning and do push-ups and pray and run. Would you? So what's the game plan here? Well, there's an unlimited amount of material on the internet now about what you can do to go search out women that are going to allow you to have a fruitful, successful relationship with them. These are going to be women that are in a lower socioeconomic class than you. People don't want to say this shit, but they should. Disqualify women who are making a lot of money. It doesn't matter if they make more money than you or not. If they're anywhere near your income level, it is hyper important that you treat them like they're faggots. Imagine that they have nuclear HIV pussy. Okay? Nuclear level HIV pussy. And then treat them that way. And they're going to want to fuck the shit out of you. I'm sorry to tell you, this is how inverted these women are these days. It's fucking insane. But again, once you know these things and internalize these things and you've integrated this into your actual understanding of the world, you stop being fucking sad about it. You can move forward, and instead of all of this being complicated and slowing you down, you won't. It'll speed you up. It'll actually make you move quicker. You'll be able to disqualify women quicker. You'll be able to accept the correct women quicker. You'll be able to respect yourself more. You will stop wasting time on people who you should not be trying to enter into relationships with or do business with. I'm just giving out cheat codes here, fellas. Setting boundaries. Oh, setting boundaries. That shit doesn't work. Here's another one. You'll hear guys, our boy Jordan Peterson, for instance, talking about how you should be negotiating things and talking about things and all that. Wrong. Homie. I don't know how many relationships you've been in, but I can guarantee you that it's less than the rest of us have been in. I can promise you without any shadow of any doubt that trying to set boundaries and establish boundaries and negotiate boundaries and all that kind of bullshit, that is an absolute positive waste of your time. Do not engage in this whole setting boundaries bullshit. Absolutely not. The covert communication dynamic is absolutely critical. And in that way only is it going to work for you to set boundaries. So being like, I don't want you to give me the silent treatment. That's unacceptable. I'm going to set a boundary here. Fuck yourself, bro. I mean, come on. That is so bitch made and so weak. You cannot do that. All right? What the much more corrected way to do that would be to shut your fucking mouth if this chick disrespects you in any way at all, and then remove yourself from the presence of this person that thinks that they're better than you. Who, by the way, if you've done the correct things with your personal development, this woman is weaker than you. She's dumber than you. Even if she has a... Okay, here's a tangent in the middle of a rant. Even if a chick has a measurably higher IQ than you, she's dumber than you, bro. How could that be? Well, simply put, you are going to operate on logic and reciprocity. She will not operate on anything like logic or reciprocity. And because of that, she will operate on obfuscating the truth, denial, delusion, lies, manipulation through lies, outright lies, and lies by omission. And so you are smarter than her. I don't give a shit about an IQ test, bro. Okay? Don't even worry about that. All you gotta worry about is, are you smart enough to operate on logic? And if you are, which you are, then you're smarter than her. End of story. Don't ever take any step back in that category. Alright? And if for some crazy fucking reason you run across a woman that wants to be with you that can actually operate on logic, and what I mean by that is being able to take more than one logical thought and put them back to back so that there's more than one logical thought being connected. Okay? Women will do this. They will have one logical thought and they'll hang their hat on that motherfucker for the rest of their life. But what they can't do, the vast majority of the time, is put two logical thoughts together, back to back. That, my friends, is probably a tranny. If not, then that just might be marriage material. If you can find a woman that can put two logical thoughts together back to back, the vast majority of the time, she is going to be the type of woman that she'll only do that occasionally, and then she'll hold it against you because it goes against everything in her nature. And she's going to be really fucking mad that she has to stoop down to the level where she has to operate on logic, even though in reality that's an elevated level of existence. How she's going to see it is that it's lowering herself from this pedestal position where she doesn't have to operate on logic. You see what I'm saying? She's in a position where she's so elevated that she doesn't have to operate on logic. She can just operate on emotion. She can operate on feminism. She can operate on asking people, perfect strangers oftentimes, to just say the obvious lie. Go along with what I'm doing. Say the obvious lie, motherfucker. Say it. Heads up, guys. Don't do that. When you get that feeling in your gut that's like, wait a minute, this seems like one of those say the obvious lie type of situations. It is. Don't do it. You're selling your soul to the devil every time you participate in that. And so it's better for you to go to the grave without ever doing that behavior. And your sexual opportunities will be just fine without including that behavior in your life. Don't have a scarcity mindset. It's totally gay. Setting boundaries is absolute bullshit. You can't set boundaries with people that you don't have power over. All right? So, and what you really don't want to do is be in a power struggle with a chick. That's an automatic L. So, do you see what I mean? Connect these logical thoughts. You do not want to be in a power struggle with a chick. That means you do not want to be trying to negotiate boundaries and shit like that. That's crazy. That's gay. Don't do it. It doesn't work. The way that you set boundaries is covertly, with your behavior, not with your verbal communication. So, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away, leave her on her own. If it's appropriate, stop communicating with her altogether. Don't call, don't text, don't respond, don't social media, none of that shit. Be above it. Be above all of that. And that'll be and oftentimes that'll be something that you have to practice a little bit. Sometimes for quite a while before you get good at it. Other times it comes more natural because you're kind of mad. All that to say, most of the times the greater success is you're going to set boundaries in your own head and enforce these boundaries on yourself, not on other people, especially women. That shit's gay. Where are we at? Select for respect. Covered that. Let's talk about some loyalty. Okay, so we're talking about modern women, right? Once you realize you can't approach a modern woman for love, you can only select for respect and sexual opportunity. It's because women don't know what love is. Okay? They don't get it. They don't have any actual idea of what it is to like sacrifice yourself for someone else. They don't get that the reason that we do that is because we understand delayed gratification. They don't do that. They bleed all the time. You know what I mean? So they don't have this delayed gratification set up in their mind. They have this instant gratification built into their physical body and programmed into their software and reinforced with all of their behaviors. They're so insecure. They have to put fucking war paint on their face to even leave the house. This is another thing that I heard somebody saying. It was Marquette. Beautifully spoken when he's like, these chicks are so insecure. There's never, ever, ever an excuse for you to be insecure when approaching one of them. They are the most insecure things ever created by God. Okay? There's no comparison. A woman is so insecure and broken off that like they were never created to sustain themselves. They can't. That's not what they do. That's what you're for. So It's absolutely inverted for you to be insecure when approaching them. They're the insecure one. All right? Unless, of course, you're fucking wearing makeup when you go out of the house, in which case, I don't know, jump in a fucking frozen lake or whatever. I mean, dig a hole for yourself. What are we talking about here, man? So yeah, they're the insecure ones. They don't know what love is. They have no empathy. And it's not their job to have empathy for you, man. This isn't even hate. I'm not hating. They don't know what love is. They don't have empathy. That's how it's supposed to be. Don't be fucking mad about it. God, man, woman, child. The woman is supposed to have love and empathy for the child. You are supposed to have love and empathy for the woman. God is going to have love and empathy for you. The woman is not going to have love or empathy for you. You are required to maintain the order of creation. And as soon as you expect the love and empathy to be coming up the food chain, you are a fucking fool. If and when you do receive some love or some empathy from your woman or your children, beautiful. Beautiful. Don't enjoy it too much, homie. Appreciate it, but do not hang your hat on that and expect that to be maintained going forward. That is not your position. You are the provider of love and empathy. You are not going to be the recipient of great amounts of love and empathy. Okay? And you shouldn't need that. What we've experienced here is an epidemic of parents that were fucking terrible parents. And so they raised you up thinking that you should be able to receive love and empathy from your wife and your children. You'll probably get a lot more of it from your children than your wife. But it's your position to be providing that to other people. So don't be a bitch. It's completely unnatural for a modern woman to be loyal. Don't expect loyalty. Most women will never participate in the behavior of loyalty. That's not part of their composition. They will participate in the behavior of hypergamy, and that is in their composition. And I'm not hating on that. I will encourage my daughters to behave hypergamously in their romantic relationships. I'm not even hating. I'm into it. I want them to find the strongest, most successful, high-level, high-value men that they could possibly qualify for. And in order to do that, I'm going to tell them to hit the gym hard as fuck and get married as early as possible and have as many children as they can, as early as they can. But it starts with being as attractive as you can be. And then the follow-up to that is, when you're trying to sell something, don't talk your customers out of buying what you're trying to sell. One of the best ways to do that is shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. When your customer's talking, don't talk over your customer. Shut up. Listen. They're going to tell you what they want to buy. Let them buy what they want to buy. And once you've made the first sale, then and only then can you upsell things. Those of you that have experience in sales, this will make perfect sense. You won't have any issues with this whatsoever. It'll be wonderful. And this will seem kind of like remedial kindergarten shit to you. But most people don't know a fucking thing about sales, especially women. They're going to run their mouth and blow the sale way more than necessary. So it's key. Shut up. This one's for the ladies. Shut the fuck up. Get the first sale first and then upsell. Don't try to upsell when you're in the middle of getting the first sale. Right? So, like, for instance, I don't eat fast food, but when you go through a fast food drive-thru, they don't just hit the mic and say, "Do you want fries with that? What kind of drink do you want?" They don't do that because it's fucking retarded. They say, "How can I help you? What do you want?" You make your order. Okay, cool. Do you want to make that a large? Do you want extra fucking whatever bullshit poison we're selling? Do you want some of this? Do you want some of this? Do you want some of this? Get the first sale first and then upsell. Let's wrap that back around. Okay, so don't expect empathy. Don't expect love. Don't expect loyalty. If and when you receive these things, great. Celebrate that, encourage that, reinforce that with positive behavior so that you may get more of that in the future. But if you go into your relationship selecting for that, you are a fool and you will not receive what you're selecting for. If you select for respect and sexual opportunity, now you're putting everybody in a position that they can actually play. Don't try to set boundaries verbally. That's nonsensical and gay. Be the current, strongest version of yourself, obviously. Scarcity mindset is me, now. Don't do that. You'll see that in women. So don't do that. That's how they do things. That's not how you do things. How you do things is long-term success, long-term planning. What can I do now to ensure my long-term success? What can I stop doing now? That's the cheapest, most profitable way to make money, is to cut your expenses. You cut expenses right now, today, your profit margin goes up. Now you have more money that you can spend on marketing and developing, and then you can potentially turn that into an investment that makes more money in the future. Don't throw good money after bad money. Again, I lost my place. So yeah, you're going to be very, very familiar with this stuff if you've watched more than a few of my videos. This is going to be an ongoing theme. I'm going to try to wrap this up here. We've been over an hour already. I think I'll probably throw the rest of this into a different video, but all that to say, the sexual market is kind of inverted. It is kind of rough on everybody. It does need to be kind of fixed and improved. But the only people that are going to do that is you and me and those of us that are like us. So the best thing you can do is reconnect to reality here. If you can kind of let go of the stuff that you were told from the beginning that's absolute nonsense, then you're going to carry less baggage with you on your journey and you'll be able to move quicker. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you're not too offended and triggered. If there's any girls watching this, which there may be, I actually really hope that there are. You'll find that most modern women are going to behave exactly the opposite of what you think they should. And if you can just kind of not really take it personal, because it's not you, it's them, but understand what's going on and then work with that and not be like super resentful and bitter and isolate yourself and everything. And like dudes that are into MGTOW, I get it, man. I get it. But I don't wish that for you guys. I really wish for you guys to have families. This is what I was going to say that I forgot. And I'll end it on this. By far, okay, I've made way more money than I could ever use. I've lost my entire empire 3 times and had to rebuild from absolute nothing, from in the red, okay? Twice because of destroyed marriages, and twice because of, how should I say this? Well, let's just say gray market enterprises that ended up being run into by law enforcement and government organizations. And we can get into all that later on too. But all that to say, by far the most fulfilling thing I've ever participated in my life, bar none, was like having beautiful little baby girls with a wife right here where I can hold the baby and it's like a synergistic little family love moment. And so like there is no doubt in any of my body that it is absolutely a blessing from God Himself, directly connected to your chest, to have children and a loving whatever woman, whatever way she can love you, to have a wife that's there and in the moment and not checked out but checked in. So I wish that for everybody else. I wish more of that for myself. I'm actually going to try to have some sons. Like, I'm not tapped out on the game. I'm not checked out on the game. I'm definitely not interested in ever getting married again, but I'm at the point where I want to have sons. I want to have some more children, not less, more children. I want to have fruitful relationships with women, and I want to have sons. And I could go on for days. I could describe to you endlessly how positive, how fulfilling, how reinforcing, how rejuvenating, how having a synergistic moment with your woman who produced your children and your children, how that can refill your life force energy tanks so much that there is, nothing else in the world that compares to that. Now, I've identified that, but I've also identified that experience is maybe the most difficult thing in the world to acquire and maintain. Now, I've been hyper successful on the acquiring part. I'm trying to get better at the maintaining part. And it takes 2 to tango. You can't just be a rigid, hard bastard. You have to be flexible, because it's not just you, but you have to maintain your leadership position. You have to maintain your responsibilities, and you cannot allow compromise in most of those areas. Because if you do, it's an automatic fail. So if I ever get the actual cheat codes to the maintenance part of this whole equation, I'll be the first to tell you all about it, because I want to see people doing good. I want to see men and women happy together. I want to see families building up and having dynasties. I want to see people just winning, just stacking W's with each other, not isolated from each other. And so, if you made it all the way through this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep doing it. I want to see you guys win. I want to see you ladies out there win. I want to see everybody have families and raise up their children so that their children have families. Let's go.